Salutations Dead by Daylight fans, my name is Mr. Uykithemcflury, and in this video, we'll be dropping in the NT's realm of Survivor 100 times. Survivor has always been the side of the game that I was lackluster in, so my goal in this video is to improve what I lack in skill, and hopefully become that toxic Survivor main. And it goes without saying that this video was heavily inspired by Luke the Noble, so all credit to him. So be sure to like and subscribe to this video because it was extremely painful to make. So without further ado, I played 100 trials of Survivor, and this is what happened. For game 1, we spawned in Blood Lodge, an auto-haven map, and the first thing I did was hop out of Jared because nothing is more toxic than gen rushing. The killer was mainly focused on my friend, and when the killer finally caught up to them, I flashlight saved just in time. Soon after we were minding our own business, he decided to target me. I ran him around for a long time, but he put me in my place. We popped the final gen and things were looking good. We only lost one teammate and everyone was healthy. But as the exit gate was open, he found me and I had to run. He tried, but I tried harder, escaping round 1. In game 2, I spawned in the Guardian of Joy, which has these super protective loops that killers can never catch you in, especially with range attacks. I ran him around, determined and bravely, but even I was no match for the ghosty. But at least my friend Turtle got out. I had a couple of lacerations game 3, but that's nothing a medkit can't fix. Luckily I was facing a trickster with the worst accuracy in existence. Just look at these spicy dodges. Thankfully the killer was on me the entire time, so my team was able to do the 5 generators. And at the exit, I nodded him as a sign of respect before securing my win. Damn game 4 in that dead dog saloon with one of them nurses, yeehaw. I have plenty of experience with nurses, and I learned how to count to them pretty early on. You just act like you're going one direction, and switch halfway through. And remember to break line of sight, because that is the most important part. But in this game, I actually helped out with the generators, a trend you will not see be continued. I had the nurse chasing me for most of the game, but I was able to dodge and weave until the exit gates were opened. Everyone died, except for me. In game 5, our teammates were harassed by the Sadako right off the bat, so me and Turtle left them on me hooks to marinate for a while. Me and Jonah just finished the only Jared to be met with the Sadako phasing into existence. I fought hard and missed my dead hard, which got me hooked. We played well, but the Sadako just played better. Game 6 was utter chaos, our teammates were scrambled, and we were against a sweaty dredge. Nightfall covered the map in darkness, only leading us more astray. We finished 4 gens, but ultimately, we got dunked on. For game 7, we got Mount Orbit Resort and a clown. I hate versing clowns because half the time, your screen looks like this. But with the loops and ornament, I was able to keep him occupied for 2 generators. Luckily for me, Retinue was running that toxic prove thyself, and we were able to pop gens left, right, and center. Oh, this is nice. I love when my teammates get camped. Retinue finally got off the hook and got smacked onto the floor by the clown. I missed my flashlight save and reluctantly escaped, but not before showing this clown who's in charge. We're not going to talk about game 8. I had no idea what we were doing. Certainly not winning, that's what. In game 9, I was all alone. Usually I play with one other person, so the loneliness doesn't set in, but that was alright. We were against a Wesker who had trouble hitting his bounds. It was probably because he was dressed in pleather. When he finally caught up to that Leon that bullied him the entire game, I was in the area, so I burned through his Costco sunglasses with my flashlight and made him drop the Leon. Later on, I was meat hooked, so I graciously killed myself to let the Lori escape. How nice of me! Game 10 was a stressful one. Our foe was the Blight, aka Dead by Daylight's pinball machine. The Fang got tunneled off right off the bat, which usually isn't a good sign. Luckily, our team was well built and prioritized gens, while the others were getting chased. For myself, I am a Blight main, so I know all the moves and grooves. When it comes to his kit, I know how to counter him well. With sheer determination and grit, we were able to pop the last generator, but Bill was down and was being camped. It was time for the rescue mission. Ace took a hit, and then I took a hit, wearing down our defenses, until we were all injured. Ace was downed again by the Blight, but I ran, burning his pupils out, and we escaped through the exit gates. Hopping into game 11, I got Ironworks of Misery for the 2nd time in a row. The Pyramid Head decided to chase me right off the bat, and we managed to finish 4 gens on the 3rd hook. He wasn't accurate with his punishments of the damned attacks, but when he slipped up, I walked right into it. As he was picking up the Kate, I lined myself perfectly up for a flashlight save, and my computer crashed. Jumping straight into game 12, there was a Sadako, and there's only 2 types of Sadakos, the honorable ones like April Ghosts, or the ones that tunnel to win. This game was the latter. I tried to loop her, but the combination of anime and McDonald's Wi-Fi, she shot Japanese letters out of her fingertips, and after I missed my dead hard, I got a tiny bit upset. Dropping right into game 13, we were against a Spirit who used Insidious, because that is the meta now. I honestly didn't see her for most of the game because I was too busy fixing gens. She was camping the basement, but luckily our whole team showed up and saved the poor soul without any casualties. At the end, I felt a little toxic, but secured my win. In game 14, we were against a Wesker who assaulted the Fang the first chance he got. After I missed a skill check, the Wesker decided to turn his attention to me, and clearly Ouroboros got to his brain because he couldn't land a single grab on me. So I ran around for a total of 5 gens. Can I please get a heal? With this exit gate open, the Wesker was on my tail, so I decided to play it safe and not go for teabags, securing the win of Game 14. Game 15 started out with us popping generators, which is always nice. And like the last game, the killer was a Wesker. I had Mitri, which is an incredibly brokered loop, and I managed to run him around for 4 gens. And when the final one was popped, he had Terminus. It was very ineffective. We all got out, but not before he showed Ada who was boss. Back sneaking around in Garden of Joy, Game 16. The Destiny tried to kill me, but must have come from Valorant because his shots were not on point. He never stood a chance. We all got out, and my friend Noblik got a little toxic at the exit gate, so he promptly got skewered. Gen rushing our way through Game 17, we were in an auto haven. The Ghostface suddenly turned into a nurse and began teleporting around in the map, and after a few flashlight blinds, he DC'd. Jumping straight into Game 18, we were in a cold Ormond resort against the Hillbilly. When he got his first down just 1 jet in, he chose to camp. I suppose it was only natural for hillbillies from warm environments and were not used to the cold. I saved my friend and he started to chase me until he caught up to Nobuk again, so I promptly deleted his eyes. And then the killer gave up. He probably should have hibernated through the long Ormond winter. Game 19, I was being chased by a Wesker. How fun! I had 2 really powerful loops beside each other, so evading him was no problem. He missed half his virulent bounds, so it was clear. I'd say my skills are already improving because this is the 7th time we escaped in a row. We're not gonna talk about Game 20. It was utter chaos, and we lost half our teammates. Me and Nobuk got out. I took a couple of chains for him right at the exit, and we abandoned our teammates, securing the win for Game 20. Gen rushing through Game 21, we got Ormond Resort, which seems to be our lucky map. The killer was a Michael Myers, but he was no match for our toxic Swift. This round I actually had to help our teammates with the generators because my dedicated gen rushers were on a gross meat hook. We popped them left, right, and center because Carlos was running that toxic prove thyself, and in the end, we managed to escape with only 1 casualty. Insert transition. We were gen rushing in Game 22. How exciting! We popped 2 gens before the pig could take a step, and when she did decide to chase me, I had that one infinite in the main house in Garden of Joy. She didn't stand a chance, and I escaped with ease. Popping into Game 23, it went very well. We had already popped 3 gens before the poor Wesker could even do anything. Despite this great start, all good things must come to an end, and my computer crashed again. Game 24 was a disaster. Everyone got slugged, and I was the last one standing. I ran the pig around every tile I could think of, but ultimately made some costly mistakes, losing us the game. Gen rushing through Game 25 because nothing is more toxic than holding M1. This pig tried to hook us, but she got spun. When we popped the last gen, the killer managed to get me on death hook, so I was running for my life. Luckily, I managed to evade her and secured escape, leaving my friends to perish. Loading into the treatment theater Game 26, we had began to gen rush as usual, until we got viciously attacked by a Legion. The Legion's powers relies on injuries in order to obtain pressure. Luckily, we were running one of them silly blue totem perks that removes pressure. We ran that teenager around bravely, but when he caught up to someone, he decided to camp. Me and Retin, we thought it would be best to leave them behind, because we were just better. Game 27, I spent most of the time in the basement with no friends, just like in real life. Luckily, this Wesker was kind enough to put a Claire right beside me, to keep me company. We died, but that's all I'm really gonna say. Jumping from one meat hook to another in Game 28, I was brutally attacked by a booba. Our team absolutely got dunked on, and the TTV left along with my will to live. In Game 29, I was faced camped by a 600-pound 9-year-old who doesn't go outside. Dropping into the Dead Dog Saloon in Game 30, starting out pretty strong, for the killer that is. We were against a sweaty Blight who absolutely crushed our team. He only used the highest mount sensitivity, with his greasy KFC fingers. I'm sure he smells. Walking through the Haddonfield houses in Game 31, we were against a Mikael Myers. How thematic. He popped Evil Within 3 on me just before I could get to a window, and I was hooked in the basement. My friend went to rescue me, but I got too cocky with the flashlight save, and then got a little upset. In Game 32, we were in Dead Dog Saloon again, and we were against a Ghostface running a demi build, so we knew he was cringe. But I swear this Ghostface was pulling some trickery. Like, how is this not a reveal? After I was promptly exposed and then killed. In Game 33, we're in the Garden of Joy, but against a tunneling Legion. Me and the Nobuk worked really hard to pop the generators, while our team was getting picked off, but nothing could stop the power of tunneling. I couldn't find the hatch, My last hope was escaping, so I died. Gen rushing in Gar of Joy, we could tell by the flu going around that there must be a Vommy Mummy in the midst. After our massive loss streak, our MMR made us go against someone who just installed the game. She was very bad, to be honest, but I felt nothing, so we gen rushed her and teabagged her at the exit gate. Exploring the corn in game 35, we were against a Deathslinger running a ridiculously average build. And to make matters worse, we were not smart about where we gen rushed, and we managed to 3-gen ourselves. This is what happens when you let a man with arteritis walk to shore locations. He doesn't have to travel, which means I don't have to live. Game 36 was a disaster. We were hooked by a Bubba, who actually knew what he was doing, and he managed to slug and hook all 4 of us. Might I add, we were a Swift at the time. Team morale in game 37 was in the toilet, so we had to make it up with a win. A stealth killer in Colon Farm is never a good sign, because you can see when they're stalking you. If you want to look at me so bad, look at this! Yes, I got not 1 flashlight save, but 2! We all got out, but not before I played with the Michael's feelings. Dropping into my favorite map in game 38, we were against a Nemi Sus. The game started out with epic chases, because every nemesis, whether you like it or not, is a Jill Slimp. I have tier 3 of your OnlyFans. Sadly, partway through, my teammates died by the SWAT team zombie RNG, and it was only me and the tier 3 simp. I was actually running for my life because he wanted me so badly. Luckily, I managed to hit my dead hard and get the hatch right in front of his eyes. Now lonely in game 39, I was against a Wesker. We began to gen rush, but he managed to tunnel out 2 members of our team. It was only me and the Bill and the Wesker. And Wesker was out for Jill's sandwich blood. I knew this game was already a loss, so I grabbed his attention with the light and began a chase. And I kid you not, I ran him around for 4 minutes. Bill, can you please do a gen? Finally, he caught up to me, and I used my juicy deliverance. Bill was left for dead. Get it? For his treachery, I allowed the Wesker to continue camping him, and I made the Wesker watch as I escaped through the hatch. In game 40, we're against another sweaty Wesker in Colwyn Farm. He mercilessly slaughtered the rest of my teammates, and I decided to hide. Turns out, in a horror game about trying to survive, you're not supposed to hide. So he spotted me and yeeted me into a tree. Getting the Garden of Joy for the billionth time in game 41, we were against a Plague. I got in a chase with her first thing because I need to show her who's boss. She managed to puke on me, and I took a hit before I went fully broken. I took her to my second favorite loop of the game, just behind Mitri, and the TTV got down and I performed a juicy flashlight save, saving his life. Amazingly, we all escaped with 0 casualties. Running through the halls of Midwich, game 42, I decided to keep a low profile. No need to get tunneled when I can support my team by doing gens and healing my teammates. I was healing Rebecca, and the killer decided to DC. I didn't get to see them the entire game, but I guess the Jill bullied them out. Jumping straight into game 42, I decided to keep a low profile again, because I did not want to get my butt absolutely ripped by a harpoon gun. I was just about to pop the 4th solo gen when the killer disconnected. The entity, aka Nia, sure bullied him. Oh, what a lovely evening in game 44. Macamanda Day is a wonderful time of night. Dropping into RPD in game 45, and wow, it's been 45 games since I've gotten this horrendous map. Lucky for me! And we were against a Ghostface who had serious dedication issues, which meant he'd be perfect in a relationship. We managed to finish every single generator, and I timed my dead hard just right, causing the Ghostface to make a hole in his TV. 7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you. Oh boy, did that Wesker really only have 7 minutes, because he killed me and my squad quickly. Game 47 was no better. This pig managed to get a 4-man slug because we played like idiots. In game 48, I saw the clown had a pink elephant skin, so I disconnected. Playing in Guard of Joy, game 49, we were against a pig without a soul. While my teammates were holding M1, I was keeping the pig at bay with my amazing looping skills. When I brought her to the other side of the map, she finally managed to hit me with her Franklins, making me drop my amazing purple flashlight. I chose my flashlight over my friend because it was more worth it, but to no avail, I never found it. Don't look at her. That's just sad. We're warning my flashlight here. In game 50, we were against a Bone Clapper Wraith, but luckily, he was a friendly, at the expense of my ears, and he let us go with a fully deserved win in game 50. Back in Coldwood Farm in game 51, it was going strong until Ghostface made a massive comeback and managed to kill my teammates. The Ghostface pretended to be friendly, and I feel ashamed because I fell for it. You should never trust a Ghostface. Just because he can do the handy-dandy teabag does not mean he's a friend. Jumping straight into game 52, we were against another Ghostface in the same map. This is because the new Ghostface tube came out, and everyone wants to get their hands on that sweet dirt face. The game basically went the same as the last one, except the Ghostface had to sweat a little harder. He should be more careful, because if he sweats more, he could create a flash flood. Had an incredibly confident team in game 53, we were against a hag, which I absolutely pestered. I was stepping on every single one of her traps in order to get her attention, but when she finally got up, I got cocky. While I was injured, I got a little spanking. That clearly upset her, and she retaliated by killing our entire team. Sneaking around the map in game 54, we were against a Michael Myers in Colton Farm. I decided to play Immerse this game in order not to get a repeat of the last one. I mainly wanted to use my deliverance this game, so I stealthily saved my fellow survivors. And when the last gen popped, I distracted the Myers and unhooked myself right in front of his face. Dropping into the back wheel of the state in game 55, not much happened this game. We were against a boosted Blight who only had 2 hooks. I ran him around for half of it too. Afterwards, the Blight finally caught up to me and I got face camped. Luckily, my survivors performed an epic escape and I survived to game 53. Slowly clicking my flashlight at him with the new epic flashlights of 6.3.0. Back at Dead Dog Saloon in game 56, I was against a basement trapper who did not know how to properly trap the basement. But after a fruitful attempt to escape, we managed to get almost everyone out, with my escaping animation looking like I'm walking with the flashlight. In game 57, I was rocking the Stars outfit. We played well because I had Mitri, my favorite loop of the game. Just don't drop pallets, and the killer will not stand a chance. We managed to finish the last generator, and the Nemesis decided to camp the final survivor. Jonah and I saved her, but he ended up catching up to the Jonah. I missed my flashlight save, so I decided to perform a toxic body block, and we managed to escape. Jeds flying by in game 58, probably because I was running that toxic prove thyself. It was Halloween time, which means the event came out. Basically, you get energy from doing gens, and have to transfer this energy into a rift that will show to you once you get 15 energy, and afterwards you get free cosmetics. This Ghostface could not prepare himself for how fast this game ended. My recording was only 9 minutes, and 5 minutes of it was me loading. We fought through gens and sickness through game 59. We were doing perfectly in this game until Bill decided to cleanse. Whatever you do, you should never cleanse against a plague. It gives her power, and because everyone's injured, everyone becomes easy downs. So just don't cleanse, because without it, she'll become an M1 killer. And everyone died, except for me, who got Hatch. In game 60, we managed to keep a good portion of the gens, but the Ghostface was determined to catch me. I ran him around every loop in the map, and he wasted every pallet I could. But then, he caught up to me, and I died. Spawning into Ormond in game 61, we were against another Ghostface. This game will never get stale. He was a double-back demon, so I abused it through the little chases we had. But when he caught up to me, he decided to camp. He really didn't want me leaving. And when I got off, my teammates decided to body block the exit gate. He probably did some backdoor deals with them or something. Error 404, game not found. I forgot to press the big red circle button in game 62. Gen rushing through game 63, we were up against a camping huntress. She was just sitting there with a hatchet raised up to that unfortunate survivor. We decided it'd be best to use her as cannon fodder because our survival skills are the fittest. And we managed to escape game 53. Crushing the Death Slinger through game 64, so much so that he decided to camp. I tried to save my friend, but the Death Slinger had a Mori, sealing Retney's fate. But my friend was okay with it because he is a salty Deathslinger main. Walking through the chapel in game 65, it was a pretty balanced game. We had 4 gens done and the killer had 8 hooks. We were against a sweaty Ghostface who had no chill. Luckily, this Ghostface was on a roll and did believe in tunneling. And after he killed all the people I was acquainted with, I found the hatch and escaped, leaving him to crouch down in the shower and contemplate his life choices. Started out game 66 helping Notebook wiggle out of the killer's arms, which always feels good. Our teammates were scrambling in order to stay alive. The Dredge's nightfall was very oppressive, and I missed every single flashlight save I tried. Mostly because new flashlight angles, it's so low! Also, he has a Cheeto neck, which is very hard to aim. I tried endlessly to loop him, but ultimately, I died to know it, and was camped. Game 67 started out pretty smoothly. We were against a Michael with infinite tier 3, which is always very intimidating. He mercilessly slaughtered the 2 other friends, so me and Notebook decided it would be best to leave them, but he sure did try to convince us to come back. Until we teabagged him, and he tried to kill us. I was minding my own business in game 68 when I was attacked by a Legion. I hate Legions because it basically turns the game into a mending simulator. And if you don't mend, the screen gets really dark, and you die. The Legion wasn't running Thanatophobia, so this Legion had no pressure. When the Legion finally decided to hook me, that Jade was running that silly will make it perk and deleted the Legion's pressure. And we escaped, making this Legion never play this game again. Game 69, nice. But real talk, it was a battle for the hatch, because all my teammates died in the corn. The Wesker really wanted me dead after I bullied him, and I just barely escaped. Starting out strong in game 70, we were against another Wraith inside the hospital. The hospital has always been a map with very strong loops, and when played correctly, wins and games come easy. I had a really strong loop with 4 windows that worked off each other. The Wraith stood no chance. It did not help the Wraith that my teammates were gen rushing him while I was running him around, and we escaped with our egos intact. Dropping into game 71, me and Notebook decided to not save our friends because we were too busy doing with generators. This ultimately was the wrong choice because Myers promptly killed me and Notebook afterwards, which is why you shouldn't let your teammates die. Game 72 started out strong with the toxic gen rush against a COD player who thought he could play Deathslinger. He missed half his shots, which made me feel feel cocky. I shined my flashlight into his eyes so many times that I'm sure he developed cataracts. Everything was going swell until I figured out he had NOED. And anyone who used NOED is just bad. The NOED really carried him this game, and I decided to leave Notebook behind because I was just better. Hopping straight into game 73, we were against a Huntress with Lightborn, so I could not give her macular degeneration. I managed to play Immerse this game because a Huntress with a skin is a very scary one. The times she decided to go for me, I was super careful with pallets because the one thing you shouldn't do against a Huntress is throw down pallets right in her face. The final gen popped and me and Notebook left our teammates behind because we are just quirky like that. In game 74, we were facing a scary bird lady. I basically lost all my brain cells during chase because it might have had something to do with the bird poop. Afterwards, I got tunneled, and the artist quickly ended our win streak. Hopping into the Garden of Joy in game 75. We were against a Michael Meyer with Infinite Tier 3. He spent 2 gens trying to get his first down, and when he did, I promptly caused his eyes to bleed. I didn't want to die, so I avoided him like the plague. Not you. Eventually, the final generator popped and he decided to camp. I waited for the perfect moment to strike, and when he left to check a jungle gym, I saved her, securing us the win for game 75. In game 76, my teammates were just awful. They were too altruistic with his Sadako and threw the game. I admit I was guilty with this juicy flashlight save. I was about to open an exit gate, but the tier 3 April Ghost Sim simply didn't allow it. Hopping straight into game 77, we were in the Mac build estate against a Hag. Luckily our teammates were the good kind and could actually loop. When the 4th gen was popped, she became very territorial over the gens. We had some back and forths for a while until we finally secured the final gen and escaped with our egos intact once again. Back at the Garden of Joy in game 78, we were up against a demo, an endangered species. We absolutely gen rushed this baby killer because one who doesn't gen rush has not become a man yet. He eventually camped the final survivor in a pathetic attempt to secure the kill. But we drift on him with our sweaty pits and secured the win in game 78. In game 79, we were against a Deathslinger who stopped before he started. He failed to load into the game and we got a free escape. I don't have much to say about this one, to be honest. Game 80, we spawned into Haddonfield with yet another ghost face. Within 60 seconds, the Kate got downed and she DC'd, making our chances as good as the chances of me getting laid. But then the killer slugged and killed us all. Game 81, we dropped into Coldwood Farm with another ghosty. Not stale gameplay at all. After a few chases and a flashlight save, I was hooked, and then all the gens were powered. The ghost tried to camp, but my teammates were too quick to rescue me. With the clock ticking on my endurance, the killer was chasing me and was trying to weigh out my endurance. He swung just barely too early, giving me the boost out of this smelly killer sight. But then I got cocky at the exit gate and he picked me up before escaping. However, I wiggled out midway through, parrying on the escape. Game 82 immediately started out with a chase with Wesker. After running him around a decent amount of time, I got downed. I was taking no chances. I was the gen jockey of the team and made sure every gen was done. We all got out thanks to my hard work and dedication. Because gen rushing is not a choice, it's a lifestyle. Entering game 83, a Jill sandwich failed to load. If it was not for her sacrifice, we would have encountered a Legion. Starting game 84 right off the bat, we were against a sweaty nurse. Her blinks were not exactly pinpoint accurate, but they were accurate enough to fool me. I ran her around a little more, making sure to waste as much time as possible, allowing my teammates to pop all 5 gens and getting out. But I was the one who died. Game 85, we were against a Deathslinger who just installed the game. I befriended the killer, which my computer did not seem to agree with, and then it crashed. Going straight into game 86, we dropped into Auto Haven with a Trapper. Trappers have always scared me because I had no clue where the traps are, and stepping into something unknown is terrifying. The Trapper mainly trapped near hooks, which made saves incredibly difficult. Luckily in the endgame, we were able to save Notebook, but not before I crunched my leg twice! We got out, but not without some teabags. Loading into the Dead Dog Saloon game 87, we were against a nurse who saw us S tier on a random tier list on Forbes, but simply didn't know how to play her. To make matters worse, she was on controller, which let me run her around for so long. I've bullied many nurses in my past because, well, you can't judge me. They woke up and chose a nurse. So we crushed her. That's all I'm gonna say. Bathing in the hot sunlight in game 88, we were against a Trapper who actually knew how to trap. It didn't seem to make it any better that my friends were literally trap magnets. Oh boy, some candy! To be honest, we didn't stand a chance because we locked ourselves in a nasty 3-gen, and then we died. In game 89, I was up against another scary bird lady. I still haven't figured out how to counter her, even though it's simply just avoiding the birds. I was able to rob her of many hooks with my handy-dandy flashlight, but when it came time to escape, I missed my flashlight save and Notebook died. He should have just gone back to playing Roblox. Dropping straight into game 90, we were against a sweaty doctor. I was running him around while my friends were mocking me about already being in tier 3. I can't have it big. Eventually, He killed everyone except for me, and I escaped with the hatch. Dropping into the Sanctum of Wrath in Game 91, we were against Sadako. My heart literally stopped when Steve told me April Ghost was online, because they are the superior player. Luckily, it was not April Ghost, but this Sadako was still incredibly good, because she managed to kill my entire team. I dropped my flashlight as a final offering, so she would let me go, and she did. But not before I took it back! Back in the RPD in Game 92, against Bubba. 2 of our teammates were killed early on by his pleather-faced ways. Me and Nobuk fought bravely this game, and we managed to finish 4 generators on our own, while evading the killer. Sadly, Nobuk got killed, leaving me in the Leatherface. I got extremely lucky and saw the hatch right in front of me, but the killer was also right behind me. Luckily, his KFC fingers caused him to drop his hammer, and I was able to escape right before his very eyes. Blasting through generators in Game 93, and by the sides of screaming, there was a doctor in the midst. The doctor mainly wanted some tender Jill sandwich jam, but I didn't let him have it. My friends finished every generator by the time I was done, and opened the exits. But when it came time to escape, I missed my dead hard and died. Walking through the Gideon meat plant in Game 94. And we already knew it was going to be good, because one of our teammates CC'd. This round was especially special for me because I was able to perform my first CJ tech. Just look at that precision! Sadly, everyone died after I managed to escape through the hatch, after slowly letting my teammates perish. In Game 96, I made it my personal mission to make sure this clown did not get any hooks. I proceeded to run around him, mostly with these toxic Dead by Daylight infinites. I flashlight saved and baited the clown away from my friends so he could use his unbreakable. It was a mess for this clown. We escaped, and I felt especially cocky and styled out of the exit gate. Skipping through most of the game in 96 because you don't need to see me talking about gens this late into the video. We finished every generator with everyone on Death Hook. This Michael played honorably. And I opened an exit gate right beside the Leon. I could have let him die, but I didn't. And we escaped through Game 96. I don't want to talk about Game 97. It was a disaster. Everyone had worms, and the Wesker's peer pressuring me to lose. After a decently long chase, I was outranged by the Wesker's massive hitbox. Wow, what a lovely game in Dead by Daylight. I hope that is not a ghost face. Blah. In Game 99, I was tunneled out by twins. I don't know what you expected to happen, because anyone who mains twins has no soul. Finally, we reached Game 100 after 99 games. I would say my skills have improved, and I can't wait to demonstrate them in this game. And the killer was a Nemi simp. How themed. I sure wish he didn't tunnel. Yeah, no matter how good you are at the game, you could easily get tunneled out by the killer, whether you like it or not. Thank you for watching my 100 drops of Dead by Daylight Survivor. I'm really happy you made it to the end. Dropping these 100 games was a lot of fun and teach me new things about playing Survivor. If you made this far, please leave a like and subscribe, because this took me a long time to do. And that being said, everyone have an excellent evening and a fantastic night, and I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.